Well, the supporters of Ron Paul not showing a lot of love to the son of Governor Mitt Romney. According to the Arizona Republic, Josh Romney was speaking at the Arizona Republican Party convention, trying to win support for his father's nomination. But the audience of GOP members having none of it, booing Josh Romney off the stage. Take a listen.
When my dad realized that he was going to be the next Republican nominee for President of the United States of America, I was actually with him.
Josh is the third of Mitt Romney's 5 sons, by the way. He tried to calm the crowd down, but was repeatedly cut short. So does this spell big trouble for Governor Romney in his effort to wrap up the nomination? Let's bring in our power panel to discuss. Judith Miller, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and Fox News contributor. Patricia Powell, the founder and CEO of Powell Financial Group, and Deneen Borelli, a columnist for the Daily Caller and a Fox News contributor. Thank you all for joining us today on this Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day. Yes. So, Judy, I'll start with you here. What do we think, first of all, does Ron Paul hope to accomplish with the Republican National Convention? And then what do his supporters hope to accomplish?
Well, I think that Ron Paul probably didn't get the one big tent memo. I mean, look, if I'm President Obama sitting in the White House, I'm delighted by this. I mean, who needs to run negative ads when you have Republicans beating up on Republicans? I just think the time has come, if you're a Republican, to kind of put whatever grievance you have about the front runner aside and hang together, but that's clearly not what's not going on.
Yeah.
And they are very, I understand they feel passionately, but you know, the time has come.
Yeah, and Ron Paul says, though, he's going all the way through to Tampa, to the convention. So, Patricia, what do you think?
Well, you know, I think really the problem is Romney, though. I think the problem is Romney hasn't found his voice, and he hasn't said to these people, I love your passion, and I have worked very hard to be the nominee of this party, and you're not going to like everything I say, and you're not going to like everything I do, but you're going to like what I do and what I say a heck of a lot better than 4 more years of a failed Obama experiment. So he's got to reel them in the way Chris Christie reeled in the people in New Jersey.
Yeah, you're from New Jersey, so you know what you're talking about there.
We're really watching this the politics and understanding that when you have conviction, you can work with people who don't agree with you and still get them on board.
But Josh Romney tried to say that. He tried to appease them.
Well, listen, it's not surprising. Anyone who knows Ron Paul's supporters are very energetic, they're very enthusiastic, and they're standing tall for libertarian principles. So this is what they do. This is what they believe in. But their support and enthusiasm really is a politician's dream. I mean, wouldn't all politicians want supporters who are really excited and energetic about their message and what the person stands for?
energetic and excited, and because a lot of them follow us on Twitter. I have some Twitter followers that are huge Ron Paul fans, so they were always wanting us to mention him on the news and how he's doing.
But they've also been able, Ron Paul has been able to tap into the young voters, which is really, really interesting. So he is able to get their attention. You know, how easy is it to get the attention of young people these days?
Yeah.
But they were booing a young person. They were booing the son of the governor.
But if anything, they're frustrated because Ron Paul is not the front runner. So they're just voicing, I think, their frustrations on that part.
We'll see what happens as we move forward. Well, former Republican presidential candidate Michelle Bachmann taking some heat from conservative blogs over her allegiance to the United States. On Thursday, she withdrew her Swiss citizenship, hoping to put the whole matter to rest. She became eligible for dual U.S.-Swiss citizenship in 1978 when she married her husband, who is Swiss. Now, in a statement, Bachmann says that she wrote to the Swiss consulate asking to withdraw the dual status, hoping to make clear that she is, quote, a proud American citizen. But that is not stopping the firestorm from the right wing. Some are calling dual citizenship an insult to both countries. I get tongue-tied when I try to say that. Swiss citizenship, so I was trying to be very clear. So, I mean, does this matter?
I think this is a non-issue.
Okay.
I really do. And I'd like to wish Michelle Bachmann a happy Mother's Day. She's a mother of over 20 foster children. I think she has 4 children of her own. I think this is really, I think the liberal media came out with this first and foremost. So anytime it's a conservative woman, you have the liberal media who's going to make issues out of things that are not issues.
Well, it was her children that wanted to pursue this as well, from what I understand.
You know, but I would take exception a little bit with that. This is a woman who aspired to the highest highest office in the land. What was she thinking? You know, what is Switzerland, her backup plan if it doesn't work out here in the United States? I mean, I think you have to just question her judgment all the way through. And I do think that women, particularly Republican women, often get a bad rap. But in this case, I think she brought it on herself. And I think, while the voters may send her back to Congress, I really think we have to think twice about how we vet people to really understand who wants to run for president of the United States.
But again, I think it's a non-issue. It wasn't something that she brought up initially when she was running for president.
Well, it's been something that she was eligible for since 1978 when she married her husband. Automatically, she's eligible for it. He apparently applied for it. Marcus Bachmann, her husband, filed for it February 15th and was granted on March 19th. So she automatically...
Right. I think this is something she did for the children.
Right.
I think she can do this now because she's not running for president, but I would agree with Patricia if she had done this when she was running for president.
Which she didn't. That's why I was pointing that out.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been one of those, yet another thing that people point to say, there she goes again.
More of a gotcha.
Exactly. And
do you think it precludes her, though, from running again?
No, it doesn't preclude her, but I don't think she's going to do that. But you know what? If you do want to be president of the United States, it's a good idea to wait in those foreign visa lines rather than whisk right in. She can always run in Switzerland.
Well, we have to go to a quick break on that note. Welcome back. The U.S. stepping up its drone attacks in Yemen with 2 suspected strikes. The attacks reportedly killing 11 al-Qaeda militants in the southern part of the country, targeting 2 provinces which have come under the sway of al-Qaeda. Meanwhile, White House counterterrorism advisor John Brennan is visiting Yemen to meet with their new president. Our power panel is back. Judith Miller, Patricia Powell, and Deneen Borelli. And Judy, I'm going to start with you on this. I mean, how much of a problem are leaks like this?
This is a terrible problem for the administration. Some conservatives accuse the administration of kind of doing a victory lap. It was quite the opposite. The administration did everything that it could to keep the lid on the details of this story. They did not succeed, and a double agent who kept many Americans from being blown up in airplanes was compromised because of it. And it's a huge, huge problem. And there is a Department of Justice investigation into who leaked the information. Now, because I went to jail to protect someone who gave me classified information, I'm not a big fan of leaking and leak investigations, but if ever there was a reason to keep an operation secret, this was it.
Because this puts so many future missions and current missions in jeopardy.
Yes.
Right.
Deneen?
Well, that's the bad news. When you have leaks like this, who's going to want to be an agent to provide this information, knowing that their cover could be blown or the whole mission could be compromised? But I think the good news is that we need to hit the terrorists where they are on their homeland by using human intelligence, because frisking grandmas and kids at the airport is not the answer. I've been doing a lot of traveling, promoting my book Blacklash, and just last week there was this elderly woman they made stand up out of a wheelchair, walk over to the scanner. She could barely hold her arms up. So I mean, really, grandma and kids, come on. We need the human intelligence. It's much more effective.
Final word, Patricia, on
You
this.
know, we're actually in the 2nd decade of our war on terror, although we don't call it that anymore. And I think that, you know, this is really personal to an awful lot of us in the New York area, and we may see it a little differently, protecting agents, but also, you know, our military, all the intelligence agents, all these people that are at risk around the world. And we've been here now 11 years after 9/11 without an attack on our soil. And if you'd asked people 10 years ago, no one would have bet that could have happened.
And personal to you because your husband was a
My
survivor.
husband was there, knew a lot of people out at the Trade Center.
Well, finally, a question on an exam for 3rd graders. Completely switching gears here. This is in New Jersey, Patricia's town, or home state, sparking
like
anger among some parents. It asked the children to reveal a secret and write why it was hard to keep. New Jersey's education department says the question was being field tested and will not appear again on the exams. So, how do we, I mean, if it's a secret, you're not supposed to be sharing it.
It's a secret. That's right. A secret is a secret.
Yeah.
I think this puts children in a really bad situation because it compromises, it undermines what the definition of a secret is.
Right.
There's far more questions than they could be asking.
Oh, but you have to look at, the state did this. The state of New Jersey did this. The Department of Education. They hired a testing expert. They hired a content specialist, and they had a panel of teachers who all put this together and thought this was just fine.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of how crazy it is to have faith in this. It shows you how overreaching a government could be. What are they going to find out?
Yeah.
That Mary Jo's father's having a honey on the side, and that this one over here that has a sister who's pregnant. And
Yeah.
what are they going to do with that? It's a tremendous invasion of privacy of these families.
Judy, quickly.
Well, you know, among all the things that are wrong with American education, I'm sure this is one of them, but it doesn't really rise to my level of absolute indignation.
Yeah.
I'd be more upset about the fact that our math scores are falling, our science scores
Agreed.
are falling, our...
Okay.
Come on,
But
let's
can we
put it in
claw-
perspective,
can we claw back
guys.
the money we paid these people to
Yeah,
do this?
I know.
That's what I'd like to do as a taxpayer of New Jersey.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Happy Mother's Day once again.